Alright, so we are back with another episode of the color series. Today's theme is going to be white. I'm sure the comment section of this video is going to be interesting to say the least. Anyways, the restrictions for this challenge are super brittle. Yes, I do realize that I did include this in blue. Looking back, I feel like that was kind of a mistake. There's more white and purple than there is blue. So I think it's only fair I include this kind of here. We're just going to pretend that that blue video doesn't exist. Subcommander. Even though there is no water on this map, I still decided to enable it anyways, just because why not? Shell shock, I'm going to include this as a white tower, even though the monkey isn't really white, the mortar is, so I will be including this as a white tower. Gandalf, aka Archmage. Stupid Storm is also white tower, also has white glowing eyes. Homeland Defense. Finally, we have Ultra Boost and Overclock are both white towers. Cleansing Foam is also white too. And of course our hero is Snowman Pat. Fun fact, he's the only hero here that actually is white too. And so he's looking at the towers, you don't really have any good selections here. Archmage is definitely going to be kind of our main DPS here. Subcommander could also be pretty decent, but unfortunately there's no water on this map, so can't really do too much about that. Anyway, starting, I'm kind of hoping that just kind of base wizard would start. I think maybe Archmage here would be fine. And so I'm just kind of hoping that, you know, Archmage with support is going to be strong enough to be able to beat all 100 rounds here. Well, its mob damage is decent, I'd say. Its ceramic defense isn't really too great, so we're definitely gonna be relying on like shards and brittle to help out and snipe. Thank you. So I am hoping that I can actually solo up until I can get some of the tower. Now I think Archmage is also one of the more controversial towers in the game as well, along with like Crossbow Master as well. And I can honestly kind of see why. When this game first came out, Archmage was incredible. It was a pretty good tier 5, if I do say so myself. But you know, thanks to, you know, a lot of other towers getting buffed and Archmage kind of remaining just kind of the same, it's really just kind of fallen off in terms of power now. Like, you know, Prince of Darkness and Wizard Lord Phoenix were terrible upgrades when they first launched, but Archmage was pretty decent. And so now it's kind of flip-flop the other way to where now Archmage is kind of meh, WLP and Prince of Darkness are the preferred options now. So I don't want to say it's bad, it's just underwhelming and outclassed. There are definitely better towers you could use, but I mean Archmage isn't like unusable by any stretch of the imagination. It's just mediocre. Anyways, I'm gonna see if I can save it for Pat with this defense. I don't know if 1-1-0-0 and base wizard can save up for Pat, but hopefully so. I do believe that this guy is basically just like a similar to base Star Monkey, but just I think with 1 extra pierce. Now let's see if we're fine for the blues here. On 10 is pretty dense. But we're fine. Yellow should be no issue. Never actually done a wizard start before, but what I'm seeing here, a wizard start's not half bad. That doesn't allow me to get Pat, so I'll put Pat, I guess, here. Hopefully I can still click on wizard. I don't really know if that damage buff is really going to make a huge difference come kind of late game, because Archmage already does pretty decent damage, and Pat's Rallying Roar, I believe, only gives like +1 or +3 once you get up to higher levels, which isn't really a whole lot. Let's see if I can save it for Arcane Mastery. That's a pretty good early game carry. And so after Arcane Mastery, I think I'll save up for like Engineer, just kind of get in the front here. Because I will definitely need to kind of overclock come late game. And I also do need some defense for kind of early game purples. 62 might end up being a problem round. I might need Shell Shock for that. Yeah, Wizard early game is actually not half bad, surprisingly. Was able to easily save up for Arcane Mastery. And so it should have a pretty kind of easy time just saving up for stuff. I think the transition from maybe Arcane Spike to Archmage might be a bit tough without Alchemist. I guess it doesn't really matter where I get Overclock because I'm not really going to be using it for damage. It's not like it's going to be doing a lot of damage. I think I'll put it like maybe up here kind of. Actually, I might get it here and just kind of put it on last because I do know that Middle Path does have a fair amount of Pierce. You just never really realize it because no one really uses this for Pierce. And I think we'll go bottom pass that way. Foam has more Pierce too. I don't really know if that's going to make too much difference because Archmage does see camo as well as decamoing, but who knows. I forgot about leads. Actually, Pot's lead, so I guess we're fine. Pat is probably my least used hero, now that I kind of think about it. Because I just don't really feel like there's a situation Well, not really situation. I just want to use strategies to counter utilize Pat's damage. I would prefer the utility from other heroes like, let's say, Geraldo, or kind of the early game capabilities of something like Quincy or Sada. Okay, so we got Cleansing Foam. Let's see if we can just straight up save for Arcane Spike. And once we get Arcane Spike, we should be fine for the mid game. The only problem round would be around 63, but I feel like this could be remedied with just like Ice Shards or an Embrittlement. Okay, so we won't be able to afford Arcane Spike for the Moab. I think that's fine. Pat's Snapback is pretty good. And combined with the fact we do have that +1 damage from Rallying Roar, so we should be a-okay here. I'm not worried in the slightest. I'll use it now. I just need like one knockback. We did not get it. Okay, we got it now. I feel like that's a bit too late. And it seems like we're not even gonna pop it. I guess that's fine. We have like a couple thousand to spare. So what I could do is I could get Embrittlement early, which I'm fine with. This should hopefully be enough here. Also, Pat RNG might not be too bad. No, we still slapped pretty late. Well, we did pop it a bit earlier, but I don't think we're gonna be able to clutch this. Alright, so it seems like we're just going to go for Embrittlements and Shell Shock pretty early. I guess Shell Shock's not really too bad, as the utility from the stun might not be too... might help out a little bit. Although just microing mortars in general is pretty annoying. We just need to pop it and then we can stun the insides pretty easily. Just like that. Easy. And then I'll just put this up here and then just kind of solo with that. Now in terms of support late game, I'm not really too sure what I want to get. Obviously we're going to be going for kind of overclock, and we might just keep this guy at either Embrittlement. Super Brittle may not be needed here. I don't really know if I do want to go for Homeland, because Homeland is pretty expensive. And if I do drop down Village, I kind of do have to commit to Homeland. Can't really stop at CTA. Alright, so we got Arcane Spike now. I do think the money is there for Overclock and Homeland, but I don't really know if it'd be ideal to kind of go for that. Stupid Storm, we're not going to be using at all, so Druid isn't going to be used at all here. So I guess we'd probably have the money for Homeland, but I guess we'll just kind of save it and see. Thankfully, Arcane Spike's pretty good mid-game carry, so mid-game round should be easy. We can save it for OC easily. I think I will maybe get Village, put it right here, so that way it encompasses Pat and Embrittlement as well. So we got Overclock, so hopefully that means 63 won't be too as bad. So I guess we could start working on our Village. I guess I could maybe just get Jungle Drums and kind of stop at that. I don't think Mib is really needed, as there aren't really too many more purple rounds that are coming up. 62, I believe, is the next one. Then after that, it's around 78. So I don't really see a need to go for Mib this early. But I probably do need Mib up for kind of 99, or not 99, 95. Since there's a lot of purples around. Alright, 62 is a purple round, but I'm not really too worried about that. Shell Shock and Overclock should clean up easily. A straight line action should be putting in some work here. As well as Shell Shock just having massive range. So alright, so 63 might be a problem, so I think I might need the Micro Mortar just for the stun. Actually, wave 1 wasn't too bad, but let me see how the rest go. Alright, just micro the mortar. Perfect. I feel like that extra damage is coming in clutch with Shell Shock. Doing 3 damage is pretty nice. Okay, Overclock wore off, and I can't really reactivate it, but we should be fine. Alright, pretty easy round 63, thankfully. Pat's kind of reached level 10, but I don't really think we're actually using level 10 Pat just kind of at all. As I feel like Pat's like utility with the stun would probably do better than just kind of insta-killing like BFBs and whatnot. Alright, Archmage's been acquired on round 75, I guess just in time for 76. Although I think we'd be fine for 76 anyway, even without Archmage. So I guess we can start kind of working on Homeland. We're not going to get it for kind of a little while here. It's definitely affordable, but definitely have to work for it. Alright, so we've now reached rounds 81 plus, which means Archmage is going to start struggling kind of a bit here. It's not really too great against kind of super cerams here. Thankfully, I feel like the length of the map as well as combined with shards should help out a ton here. Once we start getting into some pretty dense kind of later rounds, like, you know, 94, 96, is really where we're going to start seeing Archmage struggling here. Alright, we got Call to Arms here. And so now we just got to save up $43,000. Shouldn't be too bad. Now think about it, I kind of wonder if it's possible to kind of afford Ultra Boost on this challenge. I feel like you might be able to, but it'd probably be pretty difficult. You definitely have to skip out on kind of Village. And you just got to solo with this defense until maybe like round 100. I do know you can't afford Ultra Boost on Chimps mode now, but it's like in very specific scenarios, like 2 towers Chimps combos and all that. And more likely than not, you're never really gonna be able to afford Ultra Boost in a game, an actual game. Alright, round 87 has a lot of ZOMGs here. Let's see if Archmage ends up getting Pierce capped. And so it's gonna end up pumping all the kind of ZOMGs all at once here. So it's kind of the flaw of Archmage. I can use Call to Arms if I need to. Nope, we're fine. Haven't had to use this ability once. It's looking to be a good sign. But I mean, we haven't really touched the surface of the hard rounds yet. Round 90 should be pretty easy. DT should be no match for Archmage, of course. We're like $23,000 away from Homeland Defense. We can get there pretty soon. I have confidence I'll be able to kind of afford it before the game ends. It's just when we're going to be able to afford it. Hopefully before 98 or in the middle of 98 so I can get that cooldown up. As we're probably going to need help with that round. And the only help I can really kind of offer is really just kind of ice. And shell shock. And speaking of shell shock, I think I'll put shell shock kind of here-ish so that way it kind of stuns ceramics. It's not really doing a whole lot of damage to kind of mob class balloons at this point. And so I feel like its utility is kind of better served against ceramics. Alright, 94 is pretty dense round. It's kind of like a mini 98, so let's kind of see how we are against this. BFBs don't seem to be too bad, but let's see how ZOMGs are. Might need to use the ability here for Call to Arms. Don't really mind doing that because 98 does take a little while to kind of come in anyways. I think I'll use it now, just to end out the wave. I don't even think we even need the ability for 95 anyways. I don't even know if it's going to come back up in time. We are pretty close to Homeland, so that's nice. We are going to be able to get it before 98. That's just all I wanted. And then 95, pretty breezy. We'll say this guy is pretty decent against DTs. This wave is kind of pushing. Do I need to use this? I think I will. I probably should have waited and then I probably should have upgraded before actually using that. Pat's Roar might do something, although I doubt it. Let me just kind of play it by ear and see. We kind of ran out of overclock, so that's kind of bad. OC up now. And can we snipe? Yeah, this round's pretty close. It really just goes to show what's gonna happen come on 98. The thing about buying Homeland is that I'm kind of committed to this, so I don't really have a whole lot of money to spend for that round. So if we're kind of screwed, I have to restart from the beginning. So I don't really want to use Homeland here. I definitely do need this for 98. So I'll just use Pat's Squeeze to help out against that. And then just hope Archmage can just clean this up. Although barely. Yeah, as you can see, it's like really struggling against fortified cerams. I think maybe I can get maybe an embrittlement here just to help out a little bit. I think I might use Homeland immediately once overclock comes off cooldown. I think double attack speed will go hard. And yeah, double attack speed really does go hard as we just straight up deleted the entirety of 98 with one ability. And I am assuming that this guy will have enough Moab DPS to kind of pop the bat here. Also, fortified DTs, we are struggling. We're gonna die this round. Seems that we are. I guess the only solution I can think of is more embrittlements. Get that +1. Thankfully, these guys can kind of see camo naturally. We don't have any abilities up is kind of the problem here. I'll use this ability early, although I don't really think it's going to help out too much. There's just so much damage you have to go through, and they're just so fast. Oh, we beat it, thankfully. Okay, so we have Homeland and Call to Arms. Not Homeland. Homeland and Overclock both up. So we should be able to just finish this off here. Yeah, that DPS is looking pretty good. Just use that ability to help out. Hopefully we're kind of fine against DTs. ZOMGs also might prove to be an issue. I am tempted to use Squeeze, but I'd really kind of need that stun. Ceramics, are we good? Yes, we are. Alright, so that was White Towers. Anyways, I think this might be one of the kind of last episodes of the color series. I feel like I've kind of gone through kind of all the major colors that most of the towers are kind of themed after. I feel like if I go any farther, I'd be getting some very kind of restrictive and very kind of niche, colors here. But I mean, that was that, So if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and join Discord. Link is down below in the description, and have a nice day.